What's up guys, Brian here. If you haven't watched my previous video on how to multiply fractions, then you should go check that out. I should link it up here somewhere. If you have, then this video is going to be a sigh of relief for you, because if you can multiply fractions, then you can divide fractions. Regardless, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to divide fractions, and then for those of you who stick around and want to nerd out a little bit, I'm going to show you why the process I'm about to show you works. So let's get into it. So one thing that's going to be key for us to be able to do this method for dividing fractions is to learn what a reciprocal is. So basically all a reciprocal is when you take a fraction, the reciprocal of that fraction is just that fraction upside down. So what I mean by that is you have 1/3. The reciprocal of that is going to be 3/1. That's all it is. And one thing that's interesting to note about this is when you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, for example 1/3 by 3/1, you'll see that if you multiply that out, it's just going to equal 1. So when a reciprocal is multiplied by its fraction, then it's just going to be equal to 1. So with that, let's go ahead and learn how to divide fractions. Let's say that you're given 2/5 divided by 3/4. So unlike in multiplication where you just divide straight across, and simplify, we have to do one extra step, and that's where the reciprocal comes in. So to divide fractions, we actually need to flip the second fraction and then multiply. So what I mean by that is you take your first fraction, stays exactly the same, you change that division sign to a multiplication symbol, and you flip the second one. So now it's just a multiplication problem, just like in my previous video. So you just multiply straight across, that's going to give you 8, and you take this, multiply straight across, and you get 15. And that's your answer. In this case, we don't have to simplify, so we're actually done. That's all you have to do. So what you might notice is that we actually kept the first fraction the way it was, we changed the sign to a multiplication symbol, and then we flipped the last fraction. So what I like to use to remind myself to not forget anything is actually just write K, C, F. So this stands for keep, change, and flip. So we can apply that to one more example here. So this time we're given 1/2 divided by 3. Now remember, even though it just looks like a whole number and it's not a fraction, it actually is. You can always write that over 1. So don't let that trip you up. So let's apply that KCF method I just showed you. So we write there K, C, F. Remember that stands for keep, so the first one stays. Change becomes a multiplication symbol, and flip. So it becomes 1/3. So now you just multiply straight across, just like in that other video. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Again, that's all there is to it. So that's great for those of you that want to just solve the problem. You don't really care, you got your answer, you're good to go, your homework problem is correct, great. But if you're like me, I was wondering why. Why does that work? I don't get why you flip the second fraction. What's the idea behind it? So now I'm going to go ahead and show you that. So I've seen multiple ways of explaining why you can flip the second fraction in order to divide a fraction. And some of them get a little bit confusing, and I always got confused when I was being explained why that works. To be honest, it wasn't until I got to college I actually understood why this even works, and to be even more honest, I never really cared beforehand. So there's that. But hopefully I came up with a way of explaining it that will make sense, it'll make it simple, and at least satisfy some of your curiosity of why this works. So let's take something simple for us to wrap our mind around to begin this. So we have a fraction, simple fraction, 8/4, and that's just because we know our fractions enough by now that 8/4 is the same thing as saying 8 divided by 4, right? Every fraction is just a division problem. And so in this case we have $8, and we're going to divide it among 4 friends, one of which being me. And so you probably already did this question in your head. 8 divided by 4 is going to give you 2, right? So each friend is going to get $2. Pretty simple, right? So what if we actually took this down and we rewrote it as 8 times 1/4? All we did is just split those top and bottom apart, right? And we can do that because you can see if 8 times 1 is 8, and then this is over 1. 4 times 1 is 4. It's just the same exact problem. We just split it up. That's it. So in this case, now you're saying, hey, what's 1/4 of 8? Okay, well it sounds confusing now, right? But it's the same exact problem. In this case, you're saying that you have 8, and what's 1/4 of it? So what's 1/4 of 8? In this case, it's the same answer. It's going to be 2, because this is one group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2. So we can say 2 is 1/4 of 8. Okay, well hold on a second here. We just said 8 divided by 4 is 2, and now we're saying 1/4 of 8 is 2, and they're the same thing. Okay, well what if I wrote it like this? 8 divided by 4. Now it looks kind of like our other division problems for fractions, because this is just over 1, and this is over 1, right? Well, you can see here that we actually have been flipping the second fraction every time we do a division problem. We just don't realize we're doing it. We just do it, right? It's just one of those things that you just do, and you're like, yeah, there's nothing to it. We just do that all the time. Now, all we're doing is showing on paper what we're really doing in our head. So here, let's keep the first one, change the second, and flip the last. So now we go to 8 over 1 times, because we changed the division sign, and we flip the last, 1/4. And you see that we get back to the same exact situation we're in, and we come out with 2. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment them below. And if you want to support this channel, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys. Till next time.